The complicated true story behind Good American Family. Good American Family, out on Hulu, is inspired by the dramatic but real story of Natalia Grace, who lives with a rare form of dwarfism. In 2012, her adoptive parents said Grace was an adult who was posing as a child and had her age legally changed. The series examines why scrutiny grew over Grace's age and identity. In Good American Family, Grey's Anatomy's Ellen Pompeo stars as Christine Barnett, the woman who adopted a 7-year-old Natalia in 2010. At the time, Barnett was a rising star in the speaker circuit because of her son Jacob, a physics whiz with autism who made headlines for excelling at school when experts doubted his abilities. In the show, Christine sees Natalia, Imogen Faith Reed, as her next project, and her husband, Michael, Mark Duplass, is ecstatic to finally have a daughter. In 2012, both in real life and in the show, the Barnetts had Natalia's age changed from 8 to 22 and moved her into an apartment to live on her own. Christine and Michael Barnett were both charged with neglecting a dependent. Michael was acquitted, and the charges against Christine were dropped. The real Natalia Grace and Michael Barnett both got to tell their sides of the story in the docuseries, The Curious Case of Natalia Grace, the third season of which just aired in January, and landed Natalia on the cover of the January 13, 2025 issue of People magazine. Here's a look at a few of the biggest moments in Good American Family and how they match up with what Natalia and the Barnetts have said in past interviews. In the first season of The Curious Case of Natalia Grace, Michael Barnett explains why his family wanted to adopt Natalia. "We wanted to help somebody who was in danger of never being loved." But both Natalia and the Barnetts have accused each other of being abusive. The Barnetts have said that Natalia terrorized them, while Natalia has maintained that they were impatient with her, as someone who lives with chronic pain and trauma. At first, the family had a honeymoon period, vacationing at Disneyland with Natalia. But the minute she arrived in her new home, her new parents grew suspicious. In the first season of The Curious Case of Natalia Grace, Michael said Christine gave Natalia her first bath in the new house and gasped when she saw Natalia had full pubic hair. He says Natalia admitted to having a period and hiding bloody underwear. About 6 months into living with the Barnetts, he says Natalia would try to urinate on her 6-year-old sibling Ethan, defecate in the car, and smear the waste onto the younger boy. He also claimed that she'd fling the door open when the car was in motion. The Barnetts have said Natalia would take her brother's toys and throw them into the street, even threatening to kill them while they are sleeping. In the docuseries, Jacob Barnett says Natalia hoarded knives in her bedroom. Michael has said that he found Natalia at the edge of his bed holding a knife. Natalia confronts Michael about this story in the docuseries, arguing, "I can't bend my fingers to even grip a knife." She accuses the Barnetts of rehashing a similar scene from the 2009 horror movie Orphan. She claims that, while living with the Barnetts, she was hit with a belt and pepper sprayed, according to People. Good American Family weaves these stories into the plot. In one of the most dramatic scenes in the series, Christine orders Natalia to clean the kitchen, and is later surprised when her cup of coffee tastes like cleaning fluid. Natalia is accused of trying to poison Christine, while Natalia says she was having trouble cleaning the kitchen properly because of her short stature. Natalia says in the docuseries that in real life, Christine Barnett staged the poisoning. The moment ruptured any trust they might have had, says Jacob Barnett. "I can't share a drink with someone. It's rooted in this fear that Natalia is coming to poison us." Christine Barnett did not participate in the docuseries or respond to the production's request for comment. Why was Natalia Grace's age changed? One of the biggest questions to this day is why the Barnetts changed Natalia's age. When the Barnetts adopted her in 2010, She was around 7 years old, but they started to believe she was an adult because she had public hair and adult teeth. In Good American Family, Christine makes it her mission to prove Natalia is an adult after noticing a bloody tampon on the floor of their home while she is taping a TV interview. She gets to work lining up doctors to prove Natalia is a 22-year-old adult, then gets her an apartment and makes her live on her own. It's true that an Indiana court did change Natalia Grace's birth year from 2003 to 1989 in 2012, after a detective thought her birth certificate looked fake, according to Michael. Like in the show, the real Natalia was made to live on her own in an apartment. In the realm of American literature, few authors have captured the complexities of patriotism, betrayal, and familial strife as eloquently as David Maraniss. His book, A Good American Family, The Red Scare in My Father, is a masterful exploration of the tangled web of loyalty and ideology that defined the McCarthy era. The book is not merely a biography of his father, Elliot Maraniss, a journalist who was blacklisted during the 1950s Red Scare, but a meditation on the meaning of being an American. At its core, A Good American Family is a deeply personal account of how one man and his family were ensnared in one of the darkest chapters of U.S. history. Elliot Maraniss, an idealistic young journalist, found himself labeled as a communist sympathizer during the McCarthy hearings. He was subpoenaed to testify before the House Un-American Activities Committee, HUAC, in 1952. An event that would change the trajectory of his life and the lives of his loved ones forever. The book is framed around the dramatic moment when Elliot Maraniss stood before the committee, forced to answer for his political beliefs. The irony, as David Maraniss illustrates, is that his father was not merely a communist sympathizer, but a true believer in the promise of America. His crime, in the eyes of the government, was his affiliation with leftist groups in the 1930s and 1940s. Yet he had served in World War II, fighting for the very ideals of freedom and democracy that HUAC purported to defend. One of the most compelling aspects of A Good American Family is its exploration of the broader impact of the Red Scare on those caught in its grip. Elliot Maraniss was fired from his job as a journalist, and the family was forced to move multiple times as he struggled to find work. The book paints a vivid picture of the fear and paranoia that characterized the era. Neighbors turned on neighbors, careers were destroyed, and the definition of patriotism became a weapon wielded against those who dared to think differently. David Maraniss approaches his father's story with a journalist's eye for detail, but also with the tender understanding of a son trying to make sense of his family's past. He does not shy away from the contradictions in his father's story. Elliot Maraniss had been a member of the Communist Party in his youth, a fact he never denied, but he had also come to see the flaws in the movement. His loyalty was ultimately to the principles of justice and equality, not to any rigid ideology. Beyond Elliot Maraniss himself, A Good American Family delves into the stories of other figures entangled in the Red Scare, including the members of the HUAC committee who prosecuted him. One of the most striking revelations in the book is the story of the man who led the charge against him. Charles Potter, a Michigan congressman who had once fought alongside African-American soldiers in World War II, and later became a critic of McCarthyism. The book paints Potter as a man caught between duty and doubt, highlighting the moral complexities of the era. The Red Scare was not merely a political witch hunt, it was a test of American values. Maraniss explores the idea that America is a country built on contradictions. It is a nation that proclaims freedom of thought and speech, yet has, at times, sought to silence dissenters. It is a land of opportunity, yet countless Americans were denied their livelihoods for holding unpopular beliefs. Through his father's story, Marinus forces readers to confront these contradictions and to consider what it truly means to be a good American. Despite the hardships Elliot Marinus faced, his story is ultimately one of resilience. He never abandoned his belief in journalism as a force for truth and justice. After years of struggle, he rebuilt his career and continued to write about the issues he cared about. His story is a testament to the power of perseverance and the enduring strength of American ideals, even in the face of persecution. A Good American Family is more than just a historical account. It is a reflection on the personal cost of political persecution and a reminder of the dangers of allowing fear to dictate national policy. David Marinus writes with the insight of someone who has spent his career uncovering the hidden truths of American history. He weaves together personal narrative, historical context, and political analysis to create a book that is both deeply moving and intellectually rigorous. The book also resonates in contemporary times as the themes of political division, ideological battles, and the definition of patriotism continue to shape American society. The Red Scare may be a relic of the past, but its echoes can still be heard today in the ways dissenters are treated, the debates over national loyalty, and the ongoing struggle to define what it means to be an American.